JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 29th of March 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then guys, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is the German DAX, and yep, the index is drifting a little bit to the downside right now, although it still remains in slightly positive territory, but is drifting back down, drifting back below this 14,804 zone, the one that I've mentioned this morning. What I said, that if we get a pop above this, then there is a good chance we could see a further move higher. Yes, we did see that move higher, but as you can see, now the big question here is, will the daily candle remain below this area, or will it stay actually above it? So that's going to be the big question for today. Let's see how this is going to play out. For now, of course, it's currently trading below this hurdle, below this 14,804 zone. If it stays there, then maybe we could go for a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. However, if it pushes back above it and closes above this area, then of course, yep, we're not maybe done here with the upside. So let's keep an eye on that one. NASDAQ 100. So the index is still closed, as we have changed the time here. We're still, as we're running this session, the index so far is still closed. Now, in terms of the cash index and where it's currently sitting at, it's sitting near the 12,963 territory. So basically not far from where it closed on Friday. Excuse me. Below this downside line, and below the 21-day EMA as well. So, but just kind of fractionally below that. Now, in order to get comfortable with the upside, well, first of all, I would prefer to see a push above the 13,300 territory. Now, that's probably, I will say that this is my safe zone. But we could start looking at some higher levels already if we get a push above this little hurdle right here, this 13,180 zone. Of course, not to mention the fact that if we get a break of this downside line, then this increases the chances also for a push further north. So, long story short, if we get a break of this downside line, then yes, we will start looking at some higher levels, but we have to keep in mind that these two barriers here could be the ones to watch, the stronger ones. I mean, if we break the downside line, then I'm going to aim for the 13,180 zone, just for that one initially. If it then clears this area, then of course my next target is the 13,300 territory. But if that gets cleared, now this is where I'm going to get, like I said, a little bit more excited with the upside, at least in the near term. So keep your eyes on that one. For the downside, well, I would need to see a good daily close first of all, below the 12,758 territory, the one that I highlighted here and talked about last week. So this here doesn't really count, because as you can see, yes, we drifted below this. We opened below it, but we still closed above this hurdle. So, and yep, we kind of formed a potential island reversal here. So yeah, again, of course, this keeps the upside on the table still. However, as I mentioned before, with the upside, certain criteria has to be met first. So, yeah, a break of this downside line, a push above this 13,180 zone, and then a push above the 13,300 level. For now, guys, there is also still a chance for a move lower. However, for me to get comfortable with that idea, I would need to see a drop below the 12,758 zone, or even better, a daily close below that area. DXY, very quickly on this one, quick update. So not much is happening here, so we're still monitoring this downside line taken from the high of the 25th of September, and I need to see that daily candle staying above this area, together above the that 92.80 zone, just to kind of be a little bit more on the safe side. So yep, if we see the daily candle staying above this downside line and above this 92.80 zone, then of course we'll go for some higher levels. For the downside, I need to see a break of this upside line drawn from the low of the 25th of February, and then a drop below the 92 actually the 92 zone. Silver, very quickly on this one. So flirting with the low of the 5th of March near the 24.84 zone right here. Now, we did get a drop initially below this, but as you can see, it seems that the bulls are struggling. The bears are struggling with with pushing the commodity further south. And again, I'm gonna take it carefully here, because if we get another strong move below this hurdle, below the 24.84 zone, then my next target is the 24.35 level, or this 200-day EMA, which is not far from this the lowest point of January, near the 24.06 level. So long story short, for now, guys, we are keeping an eye on this one, and let's see how this is going to play out. But again, for now, it's very interesting. We're remaining very cautious here. Yes, it looks a little bit more bearish, but I would like to see that maybe daily candle even staying below this hurdle, below the 24.84 zone, before, let's say, getting a little bit more comfortable with the downside. Quick update on WTI Oil, still struggling with this 21-day EMA, not to mention these lines here, the upside one and the downside one. So in other words, guys, the same analysis remains as this morning. We need to see a clear breakthrough one of these lines before, let's say, considering the next short-term directional move. And just to kind of strengthen the, let's say, the upside scenario, we would need to see a push above the 63.80 territory, somewhere around here. A daily close above this could do the trick for more buyers, and the trick for the sellers could be the daily close below the 57.28 zone, somewhere around here, marked by the lowest point of last week, or in other words, also the current lowest point of March. Now, Ethereum, so far, so good, I would say. I mean, this idea that I mentioned previously here, a possible move lower, test of this upside line, and then maybe a reversal here back to the upside again towards this downside line taken from the high, the 13th of March. Yep, could be possible. So far, this is working out. And now the big question here is, can we overcome the downside line? Now, again, for now, I'm gonna stick to that idea that there's a good possibility we could see a break of this downside line. But what I want to kind of keep in mind here is the fact that we could see a pop above this downside line, but if the daily candle doesn't stay above that downside line, this could just be seen as a false breakout. So as we know, we try to kind of stay away from all these false breakouts, but of course we sometimes get caught out in those. But again, for now, guys, long story short, keep your eyes on this one. It could be quite interesting, especially if the daily candle stays above this downside line. Then we could start aiming for the upside again. AUDCAD, very quickly on this. So AUDCAD is pushing to the upside after kind of finding support near this 0.95 75.35 level right here. And now the big question here is, can we see a break of this downside line? As you know, the Canadian dollar is on the weaker side right now. I mean, even if we take a look at the kind of the strength of the currencies right now, and you can see that yes, the Canadian dollar is the weakest one among the top 8 currencies globally. So the best performer is the British pound, to which I will get in a bit. But for now, AUDCAD, yep, is showing strength here. However, will it be able to break this downside line? We'll just have to wait and see. And of course, if we see oil shifting back to the downside here, yep, AUDCAD could easily kind of pop higher and move north again. But again, let's be very careful for now. Let's keep an eye on this. So let's see how this, if we get a break of this downside line or not. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 0.9535 level here. This way, the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and further declines could be possible. USDCHF. So moving nicely here to the upside. So first of all, let me just probably clear up the chart here. Because again, a lot of things got completed already, and most important here is that we have managed to overcome the previous highest point of March. We managed to do that last week, and yep, so far we are still trading above that 0.9375 territory. Now, also we continue to balance above this upside line here, which also was tested here last week, from which we managed to, like I said, push higher and create a new high for March. Now, the current highest point of March is roughly around here, the 0.9418 level. So a nice good pop above this area might do the trick here for more buyers, and we could start shifting our attention towards the highest point of July of last. Let me just double check very quickly. I think it's the highest point of July. Let me. No, excuse me. So the highest point of July is right here. There we go. So the 0.9494 level. The previous level that I had here, the 0.9468, is the high of July 16th of last year. So I'm going to stick to both of these levels for now here. That's going to be quite interesting. But again, like I said, this could be quite interesting if we get a pop above the current highest point of March near the 0.9418. If we do that, then yes, these two other levels are my next targets. For the downside, well, I will take a very conservative approach here, and I would prefer to not only see a break of this upside line, a drop below the 21-day EMA, but also a drop below the 0.9214 level, which is the low here. I wouldn't say the lowest. No, that's not the low of the 17th of March here. So a nice good drop below this may open the door towards slightly lower areas. Now, don't get me wrong. Depending on how we're going to shift here, I might reevaluate this. Maybe for the downside, we could start maybe looking at this little hurdle right here. The 0.9323 zone, but again, we'll get to that point if we see a further move north here, so that the pair would shift a little bit more to the right here. But again, like I said, this could be quite interesting for later on. For now, we're examining the upside, and if we get a nice push above this 0.9418 zone, then yep, we could go for some higher levels. GBPAUD, as I said, the the British pound is the stronger one today, and yep, it did push higher. However, as you can see, it's not moving much against the Australian dollar, because Australian dollar is, if I'm not mistaken, the third one in line right now by strength. So yep, it goes as GBP and GBP, NZD, and then Aussie. So that's why we did see a nice good push initially, but we didn't really kind of, let's say, stay above this 1.8111 territory, the one that I mentioned previously. So I'm still looking at that area. I would like to see maybe a stronger kind of move here above this hurdle. That's the high of the highest point of February. And if we get a nice kind of strong move above this area again, then yes, I'll go for that highest point of November of 2020, and then yes, we could. Oh, sorry, not the highest point of November, the high of the 23rd of November. There we go, of 2020, near the 1.8317, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, well, I'm gonna take a bit of a careful approach here, and first of all, I would need to wait for a break below this upside line first, and then probably we'll take it from there, because again, at the moment we're leaning a little bit more towards the upside unless it starts falling back below the 1.8023-24 zone right here. If it does that, then we could go for a bit of a larger correction here to the downside, so keep that in mind. Now EURGBP, quick update, and yep, this is what I talked about this morning. Basically the pair is falling below this 0.8540 territory, so if it stays today below it, then yes, further declines are possible. So but the pair did confirm a forthcoming lower low, so now the next potential target here, if the pair stays below this 0.8540 level, then my next target could be the 0.8415 mark, which is marked by the inside swing high here of the 20th of February of 2020. So keep that in mind. And finally, EURUSD. To be honest, flat and not doing much, and that's why I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. But at the moment, guys, I mean, I'm kind of probably not neutral, but I'm cautiously bearish, because we're trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 25th of February, and in a way, there is a good chance for this one to drift further south, especially if it falls below last week's low, near the 1.1762 territory. There we go, roughly around here. You can see that we've tested that area today, but failed to move below it. But if we get a drop below this, yep, then this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and further declines could be possible. For the upside, I need to see at least a break of this downside line and a push above the 200-day EMA in order to get a little, or probably at this point here, the 200-day EMA is not the one to watch. It's more of the 1.1880 zone right here to keep an eye on. A nice good pop above this, yep, could open the door towards higher levels. But again, I will probably reevaluate the kind of the upper barrier later on, depending on how this is going to trade, because I'm not excluding the scenario of seeing something like this, guys. So where we could see a move higher, maybe a test of the 200-day EMA or this downside line, and if all that provides good resistance, another slide could be possible. So keep that in mind. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, guys, really do. So have a wonderful evening, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. Yep, 6 o'clock GMT time, guys. But for now, have a wonderful evening, and bye-bye.